Good evening. I'm going to call to order the Wednesday, April 16, 2014 meeting for the Ottawa City Commission. Could we have the roll call, please?
Mayor Kaler,
Present.
Commissioner Jorgensen,
Present.
Commissioner Skidmore,
Present.
Commissioner Dickinson,
Present.
Commissioner Reed.
Present. We're all here and accounted for. I'd like to welcome everyone that is in the gallery tonight. And I would also, in addition, like to welcome those individuals who may be listening on KOFO or on our Government Access Channel, Channel 20. Thank you for participating and being here to watch this particular meeting. We are going to begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by the invocation with Reverend Dale Stratton from Pilgrim Bible Church. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening with hearts of gratitude that we can look to Thee as our Father. We thank you, Lord, for our city and those who commit their time to organizing and running and giving us the freedoms and protecting them that we have. We ask now that you'll bless each of these members, dear Lord, in a very special way. Give them the wisdom that is needed as they make decisions for us. We'll give you praise for all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Stratton. We appreciate you being here and for their kind words. We will move on to our consent agenda, which includes our minutes from February 17th, February 24th, March 3rd, March 17th, March 24th study sessions, the February 19th, March 5th, March 19th regular meeting, and the special call meetings on February 19th for LKM City Hall Day and March 8th through the 12th, 2014 for NLC in Washington, D.C. I will entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner?
I would move that we approve the consent agenda, which includes this evening's agenda and the entire list of minutes prepared for us.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion carries. That moves us on to reappointment to city boards and commissions. Richard.
That was under consent agenda. Mayor.
Oh,
Already done it.
there you go. Never mind. It was already taken care of.
Good.
That was part of the consent agenda. Of course, I didn't read that part, but it was considered part of your motion,
Yes,
right?
it was.
I figured so. Absolutely. Great. That will move us on to the regular agenda under public comment. Do we have individuals who have requested for public comment this evening?
We had one, but he's not present.
Okay, then we will not read that paragraph. And we will move on to declaration. At this time, I'd like to give commissioners a chance to declare any conflict or communication that they may have had that might influence their ability to consider today's issues impartially. Commissioners? Seeing none, we will proceed. Under new business.
Proclamation for Fair Housing Month.
April is National Fair Housing Month. Richard Jackson, actually we've got a substitute in tonight, Penny Hutchins from the East Central Kansas Economic Opportunity Corporation, ECAN, will accept the proclamation. And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Congress of the United States passed the Civil Rights Act of 1968, of which Title VIII declared that the law of the land would be now to guarantee the rights of equal housing opportunity. Whereas the City of Ottawa is committed to the mission and the intent of Congress to provide fair and equal housing opportunities for all. And whereas the City of Ottawa passed the Fair Housing Ordinance of 1976 and updated the ordinance in 1997 and 2000, And whereas the fair housing groups and the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development have, over the year, received thousands of complaints of alleged illegal housing discrimination and found way too many that have been proved upon investigation to be violations of the fair housing laws. And whereas the City Commission believes that housing opportunities must extend to all citizens of the city. And whereas the Ottawa City Commission believes that citizens should be able to live where they choose. And now, therefore, the governing body of the City of Ottawa, Kansas, does hereby proclaim the month of April 2014 as Fair Housing Month. And we express the hope that this year's observation will promote fair housing practices throughout our city. Signed this the 16th day of April 2014 by the mayor. Penny, would you like to come forward and receive this from me? All right, let's smile.
1, 2. Okay.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Next, we will move on to number 12 on the agenda.
Presentation of check from Modern Woodman.
Dale Pearson, a Modern Woodman agent, will be presenting the city with a $2,500 check as match from the concert fundraiser to benefit the Forest Park Equipment Project. Boy, I'm excited to hear all about this. Dale, come forward. You know how close playgrounds are to my heart and to many of these commissioners, and actually I'd say all of our commissioners. So tell us about your donation to us today.
For those who don't know, Modern Woodman is the third largest fraternal company in America. We are a nonprofit life insurance company. So we do things a lot differently than a lot of companies. One thing we do is matching funds. One thing we do is scholarships. And so we pick a project that's worthy in the community that we think will get a lot of participation in, and I was approached by Richard and Wendy to see if we'd help them with a matching fund for the playground equipment. It just happened that we jumped all over that. So what happened is we got behind the concert, and we said we'd match up to $2,500 if we raised $2,500. Well, I was presented a check for $3,344 from the concert. I sent that to home office like about a week ago, and today I received a check back from home office for $5,844, which includes the original match and the match. So, and I'd just like to say that I've been doing this for 21 years, and this has been one of my most fun projects and worthwhile that I think I've done in my 21 years. We do this 3 times a year in my community somewhere, so we've given out a lot of money to the communities. And I might just mention that I know I shouldn't talk too long, but we provide nearly $29 million a year in fraternal benefits, and we have 1 million voluntary hours that we go along with it. So we're not just a little player in America. We are big, and we give out over $9 million a year in matching funds. So with that, I'd like to present you a check for $5,844.
Well, we will take it. Thank you, Dale. I'm not used to receiving. This is fabulous. Let's do that. You wanna-
Can we get a picture of?
Come on in here, Wendy.
Wendy's, okay, let me set her up. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Wish you people would smile. You're one to talk.
Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. Yes, I will take it to. Well, look, take it to our Director of Finance.
So I'm bailing out on you, so thank you.
All right, thanks, Dale.
Dale, thank you so much. We appreciate not only your involvement in this particular playground, but we know that you will enjoy driving by that playground for years to come and know that you had an integral part in making that happen. So thank you so much for your investment in the city of
Thanks to all
Ottawa.
of you people. You was very, very supportive, so thank you very much. So,
Thank you so
all right.
much.
Thanks, Dale.
That moves us on to number 13 on the agenda.
A resolution for authorization to refinance state revolving funds.
This resolution is to authorize a bond sale to refinance 2 state revolving loans and provides financing for the 2014 state program, including an additional oh boy, I can't even say that number, it's so big, $250,000 for sidewalks. Mr.
Commissioners.
Neinstedt, tell us about this.
I will, thank you, Commissioners. I'm David Atterbury tonight. So David couldn't be with us, and you've discussed this at several meetings, and here's some highlights of the bond sale. This resolution will authorize bonds that will be sold in reference to the city's two outstanding KDHE loans, which are approximately $1.8 million and $1.8 million of new street and sidewalk improvements. It is anticipated that the bids will be open for the bonds at the first regular commission meeting in June. And the financing is currently anticipated to save approximately $311,000, or about 4% net present value. And in order to allow for possible market changes, a minimum net present savings target of 2.25% has been established. The total bond size is approximately $8.2 million. If interest rates change and the minimum savings cannot be achieved, then we'll come back to the City Commission, and we would anticipating selling just the street project bonds at that time. So those are the highlights of the bond issue, and I'd be happy to any questions that I could.
Questions for City Manager Neinstead?
Madam Mayor, I'm just particularly interested in this myself, too. I know last year we tried to do this, and the interest rates moved against us, and we lost opportunity there. So once again, the window of opportunity came back to us, and I'm excited to the fact that we're going to pursue this, and I'm very eagerly looking forward to making this thing happen. So with that, I will move that we accept this resolution as stated in item number 13.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the resolution as stated in our agenda for refinancing state revolving loans. Is there any discussion among commissioners? I might want to point out that the only discussion that I do have is that this does bring an additional amount to the City of Ottawa for us to actually work down on that list of streets and sidewalks that we'll actually be able to rehab, correct?
It does, Commissioners. We work off of our pavement plan as just a base, and we do have a map here in case you'd like to see that. Mr. Ramsey, our interim Public Works Director, could share that with you. But we have an opportunity here with certain classified streets to get a jump on our street improvement program, and what it amounts to is probably equal to doing 3 or 4 years worth of programs that we would do. And we also have an opportunity under the classification of sidewalks along those streets to do, and this is in priority order, upgrades of the intersections to ADA standards, repair of existing sidewalks, repair of existing curb and gutter, and construction of new sidewalk along any of these streets if there's any money left over. So this is we truly appreciate your future vision on this, because this will be a big jump for the city doing this.
Richard, just a couple questions. Are there any criteria that we use for these streets? And then also, are there limitations as to which streets can be rehabbed with this program?
Well, the answer to that is yes, and I'm going to ask Mr. Ramsey to come up and kind of review those criteria, those 2 points with you. And for those of you who haven't met him, and for our public out there that is listening in, this is Bill Ramsey. He is the interim Public Works Director for at least the next 90 days. Bill's a retired Public Works Director himself. He also has been a city manager, and he also has been over on the private side working for an engineering firm as a consultant. So, Bill?
Good evening.
Good
It's a
evening.
pleasure to be with you. The question about criteria, yes. In late 2013, the city employed Trend Systems to do a street review, and it was a street evaluation, and it's using a computerized system called Paver, which is a program that takes in about 19 different criteria to establish a numerical rating. And that numerical rating is the first piece that we use in identifying streets. We then pass it through working with the street department personnel. Those streets that, well, we go out and look at them is what I'm trying to get at. We'll go out, we'll review it with the street division folks. We'll look at the streets that have been giving them a lot of maintenance problems. We'll also look at average daily traffic counts to determine that we've got enough vehicles to make it worth the while. All of this, the sum total of this comes down that we want to make sure that the streets that we put the money towards are giving us the best and biggest return back for the investment that you're making. Now, are there certain streets over others? Yes. By statute, there are certain streets that, based on their classification being a throughway or a main traffic way, so you cannot do this on low volume, local type roads, will not qualify. So on the map, I don't know how well you can see that, but you can tell that the majority, if not all of them, well, all of them, because they have to, are major streets within the city and meet the criteria both from a pavement rating system and from the standpoint of the street department signing off on it. The last thing we're going to do, and I'm meeting tomorrow on this, is we're going to validate the cost estimate to ensure that what we're saying it's going to take to repair is valid, so we don't get caught at bid time with an oops. We don't like that. Do you have any questions?
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Ramsey? There is a motion on the floor and a second. Any additional discussion among commissioners?
I'll just say one more thing at this is I'm glad we're doing this. If we're going to borrow money in the next 3 years, today's the time to do it. I think rates are going higher, and so I think I appreciate the city manager and Mr. Ramsey bringing this forward to us to proceed with this project. I think a year or two from now, we'll wish we had done this if we hadn't tonight.
Any other discussion? Then we will proceed to vote.
How do you vote? Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes. Motion carries.
If I may,
Yes, you may.
on a subject associated with streets, today I authorized, we've had a discussion about dust control over the years. In fact, years ago, before I came here, you did do it, and I just don't have any experience with that. So Mr. Ramsey and I and Mr. McCurdy, the street division superintendent, sat down with the dust control salesman and kind of walked us through it. So I authorized today, we're going to do a number of streets for about $4,000 to check and see what that does. And one of those streets are going to be the street that Richard came in and talked to us about, and there's a couple of other streets that we hear from residents about that we're also going to go do that on, just so we can kind of watch it. Now, an interesting aside that came out of this discussion with the street department superintendent was talking about doing some other things, some hard surfacing of those streets. And I think that's a discussion we're going to have, because we've had that on our list, the city commission list and our list, about taking a look at what we can do and what options we have to pave more streets out there. So I just want to share that with you. I was pleased that we're having that discussion internally.
Thank you, City Manager Neinstead. That moves us on to number 14 on the agenda.
Resolution for termination of Neerman agreement.
This resolution authorizes KMEA to terminate the participating power sales agreement for the electricity from Nearman Number 1, authorizing termination of the Nearman Power Sales contract with KMEA and authorizing execution of a related agreement. Mr. Bradley?
Mayor, Commissioners, as noted, it is a resolution for the termination of the Nearman agreement. What I've got here are some slides that give you a little history and then the reasoning behind this and what has created the request for the termination. As noted, we bought into the Nearman project in 1981. The Nearman was rated at 261 megawatt at that time. We purchased 10 megawatts of that power. What's happening and what we do know about this project now, EPA regulations are going to require a $250 million upgrade to the plant. There are 7 cities who participate in this agreement, and each would be responsible for their share of that Nearman unit. Ottawa's share could be approximately $9.5 million to $10 million. That's totally dependent on what the final cost is. It could go higher. An outage for the upgrades is going to be required, shutting the plant down from April 2016 through March of 2017. We would still be required to pay our demand fee of $937,200. Ottawa would need to replace the demand cost, and we're going to say it would double our cost of $937,200. That depends upon what we could pay or what we would have to buy the demand for. It could possibly go higher as well. The demand charge will increase in 2017 after the project's completed from $7.81 to $8.52 a kilowatt month. That's an increase of $85,200 per year for the remainder of the life of that contract, which expires in 2022. Energy charge would increase from 0.02159 net kWh to 0.05 net kilowatt hour. The amount that would increase our cost depends upon the amount of energy we would buy out of that unit. The megawatt would cost increase from $73.87 to $109.36. That's the all-in cost for that. Total cost for Nearman would increase by approximately 48% in 2017. The reliability of that unit will not change, and we have had reliability issues in the past few years. What we don't know, what additional work scope may be required once they get into the project. Those costs could increase. We don't know whether they will increase the fixed and variable operations and maintenance costs or not. We don't know if they will have an additional energy surcharge tacked onto that in the future either. Options, we have the option to remain with the Nearman project or terminate the project. Termination of the agreement requires all 7 cities to approve. As far as I know at this particular point in time, all 7 cities do want to terminate the project. To terminate, we're required to give at least 12 months prior notice. The resolution to terminate the agreement has been approved to form by the city attorney. In conclusion, the city would be responsible for approximately $9 to $10 million of the upgrade cost if we do not terminate the agreement. The city will pay a double demand fee during the upgrade. Nearman demand will be $937,200, and noted earlier, that would double. We also would be paying a higher energy charge after 2017 if we stay in. Due to the increased cost of the Nearman supply, Ottawa should approve the termination resolution and pursue the replacement power. Do I have any questions?
Mr. Bradley?
Yes.
The 12 months gives us plenty of time to investigate all those other possible options out there, I think is what you told us, correct?
That's correct. We will certainly be doing that. We were doing that today in a Power Supply Committee meeting.
And Mr. Bradley, can you explain for those individuals who may not be intimately involved with electric sources
Yes.
and our source of electricity, why is Nearman a base load for us? I mean, where does that fall for us? How do we?
Nearman is considered a base load. However, there are some features of that make it closer to an intermediate load. They allow us to shift schedules, but that is something that you don't have with a base load normally.
And so the City of Ottawa actually operates on a base load, intermediate, and a peak.
That's
Correct.
correct, peaking power. We have peaking power in our units.
And so if we were to terminate this contract, this will obviously leave a hole in our base load. And
Correct.
so, what will the City of Ottawa be doing to look for other options?
We have been working for the last 2 years with Kansas Municipal Energy Agency on a power supply plan. That power supply plan includes base load, intermediate, and peaking power. And we also want to explore wind generation, solar, and we also want to look at possibly generation.
So it's fair to say that this is not something that's been new on your radar. This is something that you've been exploring for quite some time.
We have been exploring it. This pushes the window just a little bit more than what we had anticipated because Nearman was scheduled to last until 2022. But we do believe that we'll be able to replace that power because of the options.
Commissioners, are there other questions you have for Mr. Bradley regarding this request? If not, I will entertain a motion.
Thank you.
Yes.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner.
I move that we approve this resolution as stated in item 14.
I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the termination of the Nearman agreement as presented by Mr. Bradley. Is there any discussion among commissioners? If not, we will proceed to vote.
How do you vote? Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And I vote yes. Motion carries. That moves us on to item 15 on our agenda.
Mutual release and settlement agreement.
K-Camp and Ottawa disagreed on the allocation and responsibility of the cost of litigation involving the Franklin County Dispatch Center 911 Center arising out of language in the previous 911 interlocal agreement. The city and its insurance carrier reached an agreement with K-Camp as reflected in the release agreement. And this involves Ottawa paying a portion of the settlement. The Commission must authorize this expenditure. If authorized, the settlement will end all litigation and waive claims against each party, and the case will be dismissed. City Attorney Bob Bezic will address this particular issue. Bob?
Yes, good evening, Commission. You have before you a settlement and release agreement. It is a result of a series of settlement discussions involving a case filed in Franklin County, basically K-Camp versus the city. That arose out of fees that were generated in a previous case that the city actually was not a part of. It was a case involving TT&T and Franklin County, and that arose out of an alleged discrimination in dispatching various types of services through 911. That case actually reached a conclusion, not actually through a trial, but through a decision of the court. And in that action, the defender of that case, K-Camp, which is the county's base insurer in this, incurred significant legal fees to the tune of roughly $200,000. K-Camp took the position that they were subrogated to the county and that they had a claim against the city for half of those fees arising out of language in the interlocal agreement that the city has with the county regarding the 911 service. Parenthetically, that language has been changed since then. This case was filed, as I said, in Franklin County, and through settlement discussions, we reached agreement. That agreement, I would like to tell you, is strictly a risk management agreement. Our exposure in this case is slightly higher than six figures, over $100,000. Our settlement portion of this is $22,500. We liked our case, but we liked our case essentially in the appellate level. We kind of read the tea leaves at the district court level and figured we'd have to win it on the appellate level. We like that, but calculating that into the equation and the costs incurred in going forward, we tentatively reached this agreement. I say tentatively because nothing is settled unless you authorize it, as this requires an expenditure of city funds in the amount of $22,500. By the way, that is not the total settlement. Our carrier is also participating in this. we are looking for authorization for the mayor to execute and for the city to pay those funds. Like I said, there's no great principle involved in here other than we're looking at essentially city getting out of litigation for roughly 20% or higher of what our total exposure is. So it's really managing risk, managing dollars.
Commissioners, any questions for Mr. Bezick?
Mr. Bezick, we
Yes, sir.
recently revised our 911 contract, and we have fixed this.
Yeah, we got rid of
Loophole,
this
right.
language.
Right.
You betcha.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner,
I move to approve the mutual release and settlement agreement as stated in item 15.
there's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the mutual release and settlement agreement as outlined by City Attorney Bob Bezick. Is there any discussion among commissioners?
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Might just make a comment that, and the city attorney has already alluded to this, but this was a large part of the reason that we renegotiated the contract. We couldn't comment on it earlier because of pending action, but that's why we made a big deal of renegotiating the agreement with the county earlier, or last year. So, the aha moment.
Commissioners, anything else that you'd like to comment on?
Just one more thing. As much as I hate to spend the taxpayers' money this way, I think you described it very well, Bob, and it's risk management. It's risk. We're avoiding the risk of greater sums of money if we don't settle this and get it done, seal it, put it away now.
Absolutely.
That's the best way to put it.
Commissioners, any other comments? Any other discussion? Then we will proceed to vote.
How do you vote? Commissioner Skidmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Jorgensen?
Yes.
Commissioner Reed?
Yes.
Commissioner Dickinson?
Yes.
Mayor Kayler?
And as the last time as mayor, I vote yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. That moves us on to item 16, which is comments by myself, Mayor Sarah Kaler. And I did want to start by welcoming Mr. Ramsey. Where'd you go? Yeah, there he is. Welcoming Bill. We are used to having a Ramsey on this side, and so to have a Ramsey out there is a whole different world. But we're really glad you're here. So welcome, and we hope that you feel comfortable here, and that know that you are all, that we're all glad you're here. So thank you for taking on that post for, we know, a short time. And then I do have one other piece of business that we need to actually account for. Probably 2 months ago, I don't know, Wendy Lee and I went and talked to our government classes, our local high school government classes, about what it is that the city does and how it is that they can become more involved. And as a part of that, I issued a challenge to our seniors and asked them to write, and they, just on a side note, got extra credit, which I'm sure they were all very happy about, if they wrote an essay saying what they would do if they were mayor of the city of Ottawa. And I have read all of their submissions that they have sent our way, and I'm really excited about the ideas that our youth have for our city. I know that they are, I can tell by what they have written that they are plugged into what our city is doing. And specifically, the individual that won, actually, I think it was really interesting that we talked about this earlier, wrote her whole essay about the sidewalks in our community. And if that doesn't make you happy, that a senior in high school is looking into how can we make our city better, and it's all about sidewalks. And so I'm happy to announce that Kylie Love has actually won that contest, and that she will be here at a future meeting to accept her award. And but we are certainly thankful for Mrs. Campbell's class and for all those students who actually wrote those essays. And I'm going to make those essays available to all of our commissioners so that they can read those and know kind of what's at the mind of our older youth. Lastly, I would like to thank Richard Neinstead and the city staff for all that they've done in the last year. Thank you I know that I'm a younger mayor. Kind of glad that I still get to say that. And so I appreciate you kind of walking me through that. It has certainly been a long year for my family, but a good year. And I'm sure that my kids are probably upset now they can't go to school and say, well, my mom, the mayor, says, because I know they probably said that at least once, if not twice at school. And I appreciate their support greatly, including the support by my parents and my siblings and my husband and my children. So thank you so much. That will move us on to City Commission reorganization, which I will entertain a nomination for mayor for the 2014-2015 term.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner.
I nominate Linda Reed for the position of mayor for this coming year.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to nominate Linda Reed as the mayor for the 2014-2015 term. We are not going to... Commissioner Reed, is it okay with you if we don't vote commissioner by commissioner and just go by acclamation? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. All right, motion carries. Here you go, Commissioner Reed.
I think I have to be sworn first.
Well, I'm giving,
You're giving me
do you want to
different-
scoot over?
Yeah, I think I need to be sworn in first, and then we'll reorganize, then we'll
Take
use
the
that
seat.
chair.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I,
I,
your name,
Linda Reed,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
and faithfully discharge the duties of mayor
of the City of Ottawa, Kansas,
of the City of Ottawa, Kansas.
so help me God.
So help me God.
You can officially have a seat now,
Okay,
right?
there you go, but don't sit down yet, Sarah. We want to recognize your service this past year. I want to thank you, and I know all of us do, for your positive, enthusiastic, energetic leadership. You know, the statistics show that people typically get engaged in civic leadership at a middle age, and you are far on the other side of
That's
the curve.
right.
So we have appreciated
Noted, I am far on the other
so
side.
much of what you have done for us. You've led us with determination, with positive attitude and spirit. And so the gavel has to be attached. It cannot be used on people or things, but this is for you to remember your year of service.
Thank
And
you.
I'm going to give you a hug.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to scoot this over there and
there
then
we go.
watch this, then we have to do the,
Oh, yeah.
it's all right, we got
You
it.
can have that there for-
We moms know how to do this stuff.
Thank you, Carolyn. Okay, leave my notes here. At this time in the agenda is when we have comments from the mayor, and I don't have anything prepared in general. I kind of walk around with a piece of paper in my hand over the last couple days, and as I've had thoughts, I've kind of jotted them down together. So they look really bad. So I'll see what I can pull out of this that would make any sense to anyone. But I do want to say that I'm very honored, and I feel very humbled to be able to serve a second year as mayor for the City of Ottawa. Hopefully I learned a little bit that first year that I can do a better job the second year as well. But when I think about goals for this coming year, what I thought about was that they're not my goals. They're the goals of the City Commission. They're the goals of our department heads, our city manager, but ultimately they're the goals of the citizens of this city and this community. So I don't have any big lofty goals as a mayor. My goal, personally, is to get more people involved, to get more people engaged in helping determine how the future of this city lies. I've been doing some reading and kind of thinking about, the 150th year of our city. It's exciting to me to be able to serve as mayor during this year, and so I asked my historian husband to look up the names of the signers on the charter of the City of Ottawa. I was hoping there was a woman signer on there, but there wasn't. But there are 5 initial signers, and I can't pronounce probably some of their names. None of us would know them since it was 1842, but we had Isaac Collick, C.C. Hutchinson, John Richmond, C.T. Evans, and Asa Lathrop. Those were people in this community that had a hope and a promise for a city to be prosperous. And they couldn't do that alone. You can't take 5 people and build a community. So they worked with many, many other people in that community, I'm sure from all walks of life. And I believe that we can do the same thing here. I believe that we're headed down a path of partnership with our county and with our economic development agencies, our Main Street and our Convention and Visitors Bureau. We had a leadership summit a couple weeks ago, and I came away from there so enthused that we have this, real estate agents talk about location, location, location. I think right now we also have timing, timing, timing. We have the perfect spot in time, perfect place in point, kind of like, I guess, Esther in the Bible, that, this is the time, there's a time for everything with that. So I guess I'm hoping that we continue along the path of improving the quality of life for our people in Ottawa, as we talked about sidewalks, street improvements, more trails, but anything to help our citizens have a better quality of life, to bring in higher paying jobs, to bring in the types of things that will increase the quality of this community. So I just look forward to that. I appreciate working with everyone in the community on that. So at this time, I would entertain, this is when we come to item 20, I guess, in the agenda, which is nominations for Mayor Pro Tem for the 2014-15 term, and I would entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor,
Commissioner.
I would move that we nominate Commissioner Mike Skidmore as Mayor Pro Tem for the 2014-2015 term.
Second.
Is there a second? There we go. It's been moved and seconded to elect Commissioner Mike Skidmore for Mayor Pro Tem for this 2014-2015 term. And we also will do a vote of acclamation. So all in favor of Commissioner Skidmore for Mayor Pro Tem for this year, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. So you are duly elected.
That's fine.
And I think you will need to stand for your swearing in.
Sure.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me, please. I state your name.
I, Mike Skidmore,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of
and
Kansas,
the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge the duties of Mayor Pro Tem
and faithfully discharge the duties of Mayor Pro Tem
of the City of Ottawa,
of the
Kansas.
City of Ottawa, Kansas.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
And Mike, if you'd like to take some time to address us with some
You
comments.
said everything I wanted to say, actually. That was very good. But I think if nothing else, I'm looking forward to this year, just to know that anytime you can't do anything, I'll be right there behind you to help you out. So please don't hesitate to call. But I think she did say right when we're celebrating our 150th anniversary this year. This will be a big event. This is be a big year, and I'm looking forward to it as well and serving this capacity. Let me just say, too, I just really enjoy working with the commissioners. This is year one. It's gone very quickly, and I appreciate the dialogue. We don't always agree with each other, but we certainly have the respect for one another, and I really enjoyed working with you all on this and looking forward to another year. So let's have a good one. Looking forward.
Thank you. Okay, next we will move to report by city manager.
Well, I've been thinking about this, so I may move from my usual seat over here. Congratulations, Mayor Reed.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore. Mayor Kaler, thank you so much for your leadership this past year. It has been a learning experience for me too, and I hope that the commission understands what big strides you've been able to do in the past year on behalf of this community. Some of the big boulders that you have moved forward down the road, and we're getting those whittled down into rocks that we can handle. So I hope you appreciate that. I am so fortunate to be your city manager and for my wife and I to be in your community and being here at this historic time. Because I hope 150 years from now, when they celebrate the 300th anniversary and Bob Bezick is still city attorney,
Probably, yeah.
that people look back upon this time as not only a celebration of the past, but also putting the arrows into motion to sail through the air into the future. It also strikes me that the transition of leadership, whether it's in an election year or a non-election year, is something that we take very much for granted. We're able to have the transition in leadership we have because of those who have served in the past in many different capacities and those who serve around this world every day on our behalf. Most of them don't know us. We don't know them. But what they do know is that they're doing something important, and they're protecting our form of government and how we do peaceful transitions, and we know that they are there being the vanguard for us as we go forward. And it shouldn't be lost. I know that this is a subject that's near and dear to the mayor's heart, so I was kind of thinking about this last couple days. It should not be lost. We don't have troops on our eastern border from another county, another city, or another state waiting to take over this city by force. Nor do we have subversives in this community agitating for an illegal overthrow from another county, another city, or another state. And I think sometimes we take that for granted. We live in a great country that God has blessed with so many things. And I thank you for your leadership as we continue to move forward and improve our community for our future citizens and our present citizens.
Thank you, Mr. Nines. That very well said. At this time, we would have reports by city commissioners, and we'll start with our newly elected mayor pro tem, Commissioner
I actually
Skidmore.
have nothing.
Madam Mayor, I just have a couple things to say, especially in this Holy Week right now, especially and what has happened, I guess, earlier this week in Overland Park with the Jewish Community Center and Village Shalom retirement village. I'm familiar with this place because my daughter has played a violin concert at the Village Shalom, so it kind of hits a little close to home how something like that can happen so close to our community. And so the families of the victims are very much in our prayers down here in Ottawa. I'd also like to mention, as we speak this evening, the Chamber of Commerce has a special program honoring the top 5% of students in grades 6 through 12 in a program at the high school. And my daughter, I told her I'd shout out to her and congratulate her for being a recipient of this award. And that's something that we a lot of times will praise our athletes for the job that they do well, but we also want to praise our good students in the job that they do as well. So much of our community is dependent upon the brains of our youth, the future of our community, and that is actually our future. So congratulations to Kinley, my daughter, and all of the others in the top 5% of grades in our school system, grades 6 through 12.
Sure. Thank you. Commissioner Kaler.
I'd like to congratulate you, Mayor Reed, and to congratulate you, Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore. I'm always excited to sit at the same table as you, and I do really appreciate this commission, and I love the comments that Mayor Pro Tem Skidmore had about the fact that we don't always agree, but we can do that civilly, and we can talk through whatever issue we may have, and still at the other end still come out and support each other. And by doing that, we're really supporting the whole community, and that's what it is about. And I know that I've talked about it several times throughout the last year, but we are here to represent you. And that's our job. We are here as representatives of you. And so we want to hear from you. We want to hear more from what we can do to make this community better. And we do that every single day. I don't think any of us get up any day and don't think, how can we make Ottawa better? So let us know how we can do that, and I appreciate all those that are a part of the process.
Commissioner Dickinson, nothing? Under report my mayor, I just want to say I want to thank part of my family. I'm not good with numbers, but I think about a third of them are here. But we have the bookends. We have the youngest and the oldest. So our youngest son, Alex, and our oldest daughter, Allison, and her husband, Nick, and my husband, who would be the captain of the ship, I guess. So thank you for coming to support me this evening. On your...
Might notice he's wearing an emo.
Goodness, here we
Well,
go.
two of them are there. Yeah.
Thank you,
Pretty good
Louis.
colors there. We wear it well. Under announcements, you have listed there on your agenda, we have a study session meeting, study session next Monday at 4. This, I guess that was yesterday. No, it isn't either. I'm sorry. I'm turned around. Next Tuesday morning is our annual Eggs and Issues breakfast that will be at the hospital at 7:30. And then the 25th will be our Arbor Day tree planting ceremony, which I believe the Mayor Pro Tem may have to step in for his first position there because I have to be out of town. So
right.
I'll talk to you about that later.
I'll bring my shovel.
There you go. And then our regular study session meeting the following week, and our regular evening meeting, which is May 7th at 7 p.m. And with nothing else on the agenda, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Before we vote on that, I forgot to mention there is a reception this evening to honor the outgoing mayor and the ingoing mayor, I guess, and so refreshments, everyone is welcome to stay for that and mingle a little bit. All in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we are adjourned.